And we are back. Welcome to the final day of the quarterfinals in Europe this year. Tonight is Europa League second legs and Europa Conference second legs. But before we get into today's predictions, a couple of things from last night. Firstly, we've got to sort these handball rules out in Europe. They are far too soft. You don't see these sort of handballs given in the Premier League. I know there is some debate over the handballs in the Premier League at the moment, but they're not as bad as the ones we saw last night. It really is a shame to see essentially nothing handballs being given as penalties, which result in, thankfully last night, one of them being missed, but one of them still scored, which could have had an impact on the game if it wasn't so late in the game. So that needs to be sorted. And secondly, I have to say fair play to Benfica for actually getting the amount of goals they would have needed to get through. It's just a shame that they also let Inter Milan score as many goals the other way, but an enthralling 3-3 draw at the San Siro last night to set up that Milan derby in the semi-finals. As for today, we of course have 8 games to get through once again, but before we get into it, a quick reminder as always that if you do enjoy these predictions videos, to please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are very, very close to 500 subscribers on the channel now, which would be a huge achievement for the channel. So if you're not subscribed and you are watching this and you watch a lot of my videos, please do consider subscribing. You could be the one to hit the magic 500 number. Let's get into tonight's action. And we'll start with the Europa League, as we always do. And we'll kick off with Roma up against Feyenoord. 1-0 to Feyenoord coming out of the first leg. So this one is really finely poised. And it all comes down to how many chances are Roma going to take? Because I don't think Feyenoord will score tonight. Jose Mourinho has his team set up so defensively. We all know this. They, of course, do need to score. But if you've seen clips from the first leg, you'll know that Roma had more than enough chances to score in that first leg, including, of course, that penalty missed by Pellegrini. So I have the feeling that it is going to be Roma's night tonight. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Roma, which will see them go through 2-1 on aggregate. But this is one of the more finely poised games this weekend, tonight. To be fair, a lot of them are, but I think this is one of the tougher ones to call, and I'm just edging it in Roma's favour. On to Union Saint-Gilloise versus Bayer Leverkusen, 1-1 after the first leg. And of course, we all know that Saint-Gilloise were able to beat Union Berlin in the last round. So I think this is a game that they're going to be expecting to win. Obviously, we spoke about Xabi Alonso's record in charge of Bayer Leverkusen in the video last week. I just don't see it happening for them tonight. Union Saint-Gilloise have done so well in this competition. They deserve to get through to the semi-finals, and I'm backing them to do so. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. Any win for either team tonight will obviously see them through because it was a draw in the first leg. But I'm backing the Belgian side to get the job done this evening. On to yet another finely poised tie. It is Sporting Lisbon up against Juventus. And once again, we're looking at a game that ended 1-0 to the away side in the opening leg. In regards to the fact that they are the away side tonight, Juventus won 1-0 in the first leg. So, what do I think is going to happen in this one? Well, I'm going to go for the Sporting Lisbon win on the night. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. So that means that the game will go into extra time, as there is no away goals in the Europa League or Europa Conference or even Champions League anymore. So what do I think is going to happen in extra time? I think, as with the Arsenal game in the last round, I think whether it's in extra time or in penalties, I think Sporting Lisbon are going to get the job done. So I'm going to see Juventus eliminated in extra time tonight. Finally, for the Europa League, it is Sevilla up against my club, Manchester United, where a huge performance is needed from United to get the job done. Now, it has to be said, we were in full control of that game at 2-0 when Erik ten Hag decided to make those substitutions, in my opinion, and obviously in hindsight, far too early, before the disasters struck and we lost our players and scored 2 own goals, etc., etc., and obviously Bruno Fernandes is suspended for tonight. However, we were by far the better team in that first half, and we've got Eriksen back. Sabitzer looks like he's going to be fit. Rashford looks like he's going to be fit enough at least for the bench. So with the majority of our top players available to us, potentially Luke Shaw available as well, I have to think we still get the win tonight, and I have to believe that we still get the win tonight. So I'm going to let my bias get the better of me on this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Manchester United, which will see us progress to the semi-finals against Sporting Lisbon if things go the way I have predicted. On to the Europa Conference League then, and we start with Fiorentina up against Lechia Poznan. 4-1 to Fiorentina in the first leg. This tie is all but over already. It's just a case of what can Fiorentina do tonight. I'm going to go for 4-0 to them. I don't think there's much more that needs to be said about this tie. It's pretty much over already, but I wish Lechia Poznan the best because you never know. These are the sort of nights where anything can happen. So if they pull off an absolute miracle, fair play to them, but I don't see it happening tonight. The other early game in the Europa Conference sees AZ Alkmaar taking on Anderlecht in a tie that I absolutely got wrong in the first leg. I predicted an AZ Alkmaar win away in Anderlecht, and Anderlecht were able to get the 2-0 win, so fair play to them for that. Puts all the pressure on AZ Alkmaar to get the result tonight, and although I'm backing them to get the win in 90 minutes, I'm not backing them to do enough to progress. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to AZ on the night, which would mean that Anderlecht progress 3-2 on aggregate to the semi-finals. On to Nice up against Basel. Another really fun game, this one in the opening leg. It finished 2-2 between these two sides. So you'd say the pressure is on the French side to deliver the performance tonight, as they should be expected to get through from this position, and I'm going to back them to do so. Basel have not been as good as you've seen them in recent years. They've always seemed to do well in like the Champions League. To see them down in the Europa Conference just sort of tells you how much they've fallen off a bit in the last few years. And Nice are playing some good football at the moment. I'm backing Nice to get the win tonight, and we're going to go for a 3-1 win. And finally, it is West Ham United taking on KAA Genk in a game that I probably spent the most time deciding my prediction over, because West Ham's form at the moment, especially at home, is absolutely atrocious. However, to get a 1-1 draw away in Ghent is a very, very good result, considering the teams that Ghent have beaten to get to this position in the Europa Conference. And I have to think that the English side can get the job done tonight, but this is such a tight one to call. I really think all three possibilities are available for this game. It just all depends on what West Ham turn up on the night. Is it going to be the side that have won 9 of their 10 Europa Conference games so far this season? Or is it the side that got absolutely humiliated by Newcastle, and if we're being honest, if it wasn't for a slightly controversial penalty against Arsenal at the weekend, were on the verge of getting smashed by them as well? But I have to look at how they came back against Arsenal in that second half and how they were lifted by the home crowd to pull off the 2-2 draw, and think if they can carry that momentum into this game tonight, they should get the result. So I will back West Ham to get the win, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Hammers, which will see them progress 3-2 on aggregate to the semi-finals. And that is going to be it for today. As always, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on my predictions, as well as making your predictions for tonight's fixtures. And let me know your thoughts on those stupid handball decisions last night in the Champions League. And do we need a rule change regarding handballs? There's been a lot of talk about it in the Premier League and the Europe over the last couple of weeks. So let me know those thoughts in the comments as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with a double upload tomorrow when I'll be doing my Premier League and fantasy football stuff for the next upcoming game week. And I'll also be back tonight after the Manchester United game, whether it's after 90 minutes, extra time or penalties. I will be live with my reactions to Manchester United and Sevilla this evening. So I will see you then. Thank you very much for watching.